Recording in progress.
Academic staff, these are professors, doctors, graduate assistants, and teaching assistants. You are all most welcome for this training. My name is I am Stephanas Galinya, the University Librarian. Now I'm going to take you through three aspects on open access. So we are going to start with the open access publishing. And when we talk about open access publishing, is a model of publishing in research. Is a model of publishing in which research articles, papers, and other forms of scholarly content are made freely available to the public without the need for any subscription or payment. So this model aims to remove barriers and to increase knowledge and promote widespread dissemination of research findings. There are key points which we need to acknowledge under open access publishing. There is access to knowledge that anybody of any nature, of any caliber, is able to access any knowledge is interested in. However, there are different types of open access on how this information is being archived. Now, we have different models like gold open access, green open access, hybrid open access, and then also we shall look at some of the benefits of open access. Because when we talk about open access publishing, we are publishing for others to access this information, not to keep it in our cupboards, not to keep it in our desks, but for others to access it so that they can gain knowledge and even make new advancements in their different fields. Now, when we talk about gold open access, it's a publishing model where authors make their research articles freely available to the public immediately upon publication. So meaning that you publish basically for open access. So this is typically archived through article processing charges, the APCs, which are paid by the author or the institution. So there is a certain fee which you pay your paper to be published, but whoever is going to access it, accesses it free of charge. Why Gold Open Access? It has many characters, but we can look at three. One of them is immediate access, that research articles are being accessed there and then and free to everyone. There is no subscription fee. For me, as the person who is going to access your article, I'm not made to pay a certain amount of money, but I can just read your work at any time. Then another element is the article processing charges. It is the author or the institution where you work which is responsible to pay for that cost in order to cover the publication costs of your article. It has its benefits. One, there is increased visibility because your works are being accessed immediately. There is high citation rate. Everyone will be able to cite your work. Our researchers gain from their works when they are being cited. Then there is a broader impact that research reaches a wider audience because it is freely accessed. Then when we talk about the green open access, it refers to the practice of self-archiving a published article or research output in an institutional repository. So personal websites or other digital archives. So this allows researchers to access the research for free, while the publisher remains with the version of the record. Now, we've been encouraging academic staff to submit their publications to the library so that we can archive your materials into the institutional repository. So the institutional repository follows under the green open access, that even if you had a commercial article and it has been on sale, normally you have an agreement with the publisher, for example, Taylor and Francis, or Cambridge Publishing Press, University Publishing Press, Oxford, and other journals like African Journals Online. So if you've published there is always an embargo set when you are filling the agreement forms, maybe for 2 years or 3 years, but usually they count it in months. It can be 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and so on. So when you share with us your work, we don't just archive it into the institution repository. We first check to find out whether the embargo is lifted so that we don't infringe with the copyright where you published your article for commercial purposes. So when we realize that the embargo is lifted, then we can archive it there. So that is the green open access. Now, what are its characters? There is self-archiving. So you'll be able to archive the article yourself. In future, we shall be calling you upon to train you on how you can submit your articles in the institution repository yourself. Articles, conference papers, working papers, technical papers, book chapters, books, all that you can be able to do self-archiving. Self-archiving means that you don't need the librarian to be there, but you can upload your work yourself into the institutional repository. Then secondly, there is what we call vision link, that the archived version may be a preprint, it may be an accepted manuscript, or a published version, depending on the publisher's policies. Then thirdly, access. So the archived copy is made free available to the public. So our institution repository is free. You can access it free of charge. There's no any cost. So researchers, when you submit your work there, you just have to know that the work is free. It has to be accessed freely. Then the benefits are more or less the same like gold, because there is increased access, as we said earlier. Then there is preservation, that your work is preserved. So for those who are submitting applications for promotions, normally the promotions board will need to find out whether your articles or your publications are archived in the Ndejje University Institution Repository. They don't need you to, you just indicate in your CV or your application that your publications are there. So they will visit the site. If they are not there, then your promotion process might be put at aside. Then there is compliance. So the green open access can help researchers comply with the institutional or funder open access policies. So when you submit your publication in green or institution repository, it means that you are complying with the institution terms and conditions of how your work is going to be accessed. Then when we talk about hybrid, that is the mixture of the two above, that is gold and green. Because of time, I'll not go through those. Then we have the benefits. When we talk about the benefits of open access, there are a number of them, and one of them is accessibility, that the whole public is able to access all your information which you've published, and they will benefit, including your students. If you have students, you can always direct them to your publication, and then they will be able to access it free of charge. Then there is current awareness, that the public is aware of what is going on in the institution, and then they get more interest of what is being done in in the institution, and even the experts who are there. When it comes to funders, funders also visit the institution repositories of universities. If you tell them that I'm come from Ndejje University, they'll just go into the google.com and type in Ndejje University Institution Repository. Definitely it will direct them to the link of our institution repository, and they'll find out whether you've archived your materials with us, and then your process might be very quicker. Then when it comes to citation, your work is being cited, and that one adds you more credit, because it means your work makes a lot of sense to other researchers or other readers when it is cited by many different readers or researchers. Normally, we have what we call the Google Analytics. In Google, Google has the matrices which can do that. So when your work is being cited several times, it is a credit. Then we have, when we talk about open access policies and mandates, there are policies and mandates which can be, which have to be followed. And currently, as I speak, we are working on our open access policy as Ndejje University, which will be governing our institutional repository. Then we shall look at the different journals where you can be able to publish, and these ones we access them through AFIL. The AFIL is Electronic Information for Libraries. It's an institution which is non-profit. It was started in Eastern Europe, and it has now expanded to Africa, some parts of Southern America, and Asia. So AFIL, through the consortium of Uganda University Libraries, we collaborated with them. Why? There are some databases we access as Ndejje University through the consortium, but it is a deal between the consortium and AFIL. Now, AFIL has not only stopped at giving us an opportunity to access the online resources, but we also have an opportunity to publish in different journal platforms, and some are also ebook platforms where you can be able to publish a chapter or a full book. So we are going to look at that. Then to add more on open access, we have platforms like Dowage and Bowage. Those are platforms for open access journals and open access books. And then there's also PubMed Central, which is for purely science materials. These platforms, when we have time, we can easily navigate, and they can tell you whether the journal you're going to publish, it is a predatory journal or it is an authentic journal. How do you tell that the journal is authentic? I may not explain everything, but how we tell that the journal is authentic, one of it is its editorial board, and then also its peer review board. So those two boards, when we are checking to ensure that the journal is not predatory, we have to go ahead and check each member of the board where is settled and what is doing and his or her specialty. So now, if you don't have time to do that, we normally go to Dowage or Bowage, and then we check. But sometimes you have to go ahead and do more search. So that's why sometimes when you submit materials for promotion, and especially lecturers, and it takes long, they've given time to the person who has been assigned by the committee to check each of your publication, whether it is published in an authentic journal or authentic book publisher house. Then we have what we call open access and copyright. Now, when we talk about open access, we've said that everything is free. You can access it free of charge, but there is a copyright. there's what we call Creative Commons licenses. So these are a number of licenses which we have to respect when it comes to these online materials. So I'll display the page and share the links in the chat on different licenses which we can be able to respect but also abide with, which protect open access. So you shouldn't worry that your works will be misused. There is copyright still in open access. Then briefly about the evolution of open access. This started way back in the 1960s up to around early 1990s, when there was some pre-internet era and some people started sharing information free of charge, though access used to be a very big challenge. And the internet was used by that time as an emergency channel. Then later there was an upgrade when there was a declaration in 2002. It was called the Budapest Open Access Declaration, whereby they declared that there should be open access of research materials for reading, for downloading, for copying, for distributing, and then people started appreciating, and also some institutions started appreciating. However much, there was also some defiance, especially with those who have been gaining out of it as a commercial venture. Then later there was a Berlin Declaration that was in 2003, still to endorse a global document on how to access knowledge free of charge in all disciplines at international level. So that one also came into place and it was taken on. So it has been evolving, but the biggest rise came after 2000, when even publishing came in, that we should publish free of charge, because previously you could only access somebody's work. He has published it for a commercial benefit, but later for you accessing it free of charge. But now even publishing houses had to join this movement of publishing materials free of charge. So there have been so many different trends. There were more trends which came into between 2000 and 2010. That is when these different descriptions came in, like gold open access, green open access, and so on, and then hybrid. That's when they were introduced. And then as we move ahead from 2010 to present, there are other mandates which have come in, and I believe after the introduction of AI, we are going to receive other declarations on how to access this information freely. However, there are challenges. What we should understand, that the challenges we have with the open access, one of them is the intellectual property and licensing. It's a very big challenge, because some of the people who have been selected in different publishing houses to check the intellect of those works, some they do it with bias, some do it positively. Why? Because it's going to be accessed free of charge at no any cost, meaning that even them as they work, they are not going to be paid anything, or they are going to be paid peanuts. Then accessibility and inclusivity. Now, when we talk about inclusivity, includes people with the PWDs. However much open access is evolving, but now it has left out some of these people. Now, for example, the blind, you find that some people have both. They are blind, but at the same time, they are also deaf. So how do we help them to access this information freely? That one is still a challenge. Then when it comes to citation, some people don't cite because they say, after all, this is free. So somebody has taken his time to come up with the works, but is not appreciated. Because with someone who has done a lot to come up with an article, even if it's a conference paper, even if it's a workshop paper, needs to be acknowledged. But some are taking it for granted. Then some institutions don't have policies to govern open access, especially when they are having repositories. There are no policies to guide, so people just do things to whom it may concern. Then we have another challenge of technological advancement and the infrastructure changes. When we talk about technology, these materials which we access free of charge, they also have platform where they are hosted. The softwares or the applications keep on evolving, and then that's also challenging, especially with our IT support and even with a team who are managing this information to make sure that it's accessible. I'll give you an example. We have an institution repository, but we are running it on an application called DSpace. Now, when it was being installed, it was installed on DSpace version 7.6. Right now, as I speak, in less than 2 years, we have version 8.2. So we have to upgrade. But as you upgrade, the IT people, they also have to sit down and learn and also understand the documentation of the application, but also to ensure that what we've already uploaded on the institution repository, we don't lose it. So those are some of the challenges. Then we also have the challenge of culture and behavior changes that some people up to now have failed to appreciate, and they want to believe in what they know, no change. They're just stuck there, or they are conservative in their own way. So that one also hinders the promotion of open access. In conclusion, open access publishing has the potential to transform the way research is shared and accessed, making it more inclusive and impactful. So it's a dynamic and evolving field that continues to be a topic of discussion and innovation with academic and publishing communities. In Uganda, the consortium of Uganda University Libraries has had so many engagements with Uganda National Council of Science and Technology to start a national repository. And how can that happen? For them, they also lean on institutions which are having institution repositories. But the challenge we've faced up to of late, some universities are not ready to give in their institution repositories, because to have a national repository, the national repository has to tap from the universities. But some universities, especially public universities, they are still putting their the condition is that which have hindered this to move on. However, even National Council for Science and Technology, where we started from in 2022, it has not been easy. But now they've appreciated, but then now our member institutions are ones who are now causing that delay. But as we come into that, we need a national policy on open access repository, which is not yet out, and this has to go through different stages, including sometimes the Solicitor General of government. So, but we believe that one day we shall be there. Our colleagues in Kenya have moved at least a mile. Even in Tanzania, moving on. Rwanda is moving on. But in Uganda, and yet we are the initiators who proposed it in our other consortiums in the East African countries. For them, they are moving faster than us. So to end here, and we visit those two different pages. Share. So I was talking about, let me start with AFIL. So A field, this is where we can be able to access different journals where we can publish. I've shared the link in the chat. So when you go to this page, you'll be able to find out where AFIL works. In Africa, Uganda is inclusive among the countries where AFIL is. Then we have countries of Asia Pacific. We have Europe, but most of the countries in Europe, they are in Eastern Europe, because Western Europe still believes in selling information, commercial, and they are against it. But where it started from, now since they've moved it to Africa, they have support from Africa, Asia, Latin America, and Middle East. I think we are good to go. Then what does AFIL do? It signs licenses for e-resources on our behalf. Then it also negotiates research support on our behalf. Then it also negotiates article processing charges on our cost. And then if you need to learn more about them, you can go to their General Assembly and also about their leadership and what they've done so far. Then for you to access the publishers, we have a list of them here, but you have to select your country. You go to country and select Uganda, so that the list sorts out only Uganda. So these are the publishers where we can publish. We have Association for Computing Machinery. We have Brill. Brill is multidisciplinary. We have Cambridge University Press, which is multidisciplinary. When we go to the type, what they mean by hybrid and fully open access, it means that there is commercial and then also fully open access. So that is what it means with hybrid. Then we have the Gruta. The Gruta is one of the databases which we also access. Then there is Edward Elgar Publishing, which is for hybrid, both for pay and open. And for Edward Elgar, you can publish their chapters, articles, and even books, a full book. Then we have IWA, that is International Water Association Publishing. It will help so much our colleagues who are in engineering, especially under hydrology, and those in agriculture and environment. Then we have Microbiology Society, free open access publishing. We have Oxford University Press, which is for books and articles. We have Royal Society. We have Sage. Maybe what I've forgotten to tell you, we have access to Oxford's University Press. We're accessing books from there as an institution. Taylor and Francis, it's one of our primary databases for ebooks and even e-journals. So you can also publish there. Then the Company of Biologists is also, we have access to it as an institution, but you can also publish there. Then Walter Crewell, Health and the World Scientific, those ones you can publish there, but currently we don't have access to their databases. So that is, you can take your time. Now, for example, let me go to Taylor and Francis. So when I open Taylor and Francis, I'll go to their page, and then I'll be able to find out more about their discounts on article processing charges for the authors. So our negotiations through AFIL, they are ending on 31st December, but we have hope they will be renewed because they normally renew for us for 2 years. So we believe that in the next 2 years we shall have access, however much this agreement we have now is ending in December. But they are indicating for you the countries, and then now they are giving discounts. They are telling you that waive the article processing charges, no fee for corresponding authors from. So the countries here now, there is no any fee. We have Kazakhstan, Laos, Lesotho, Malawi, Miami, Namibia, Nepal, Senegal, Tanzania, Uganda. So Uganda we are also part of, so we don't pay. Then we have others who have to pay 50% discount. So the countries are also there. So when you go to Taylor and Francis, currently, before this agreement ends, you can now publish free of charge without any cost or any charges. Then you can be able to go to their title list and look at the different journals, and you select a specific journal you want to publish. If you have any problem, you can write to them, their email, contact emails there. Then you can also find different journals as well here. And it also generally it indicates for you the countries which can do open access with them and the eligible countries. So that is Taylor and Francis. When you come back to the homepage of AFL, you can still visit another database. Then let's look at the Creative Commons licenses, which I talked about in the slides. I've shared the links still in the chat. So these are different licenses which protect open access. I don't know whether some of you have been able to see these different icons. We have CC BY. Now CC stands for Creative Commons. Now the BY stands for credit must be given to the author. So these licenses enable the user to distribute, remix, adapt, and build about the materials in the medium or format, so long as the attribution is given to the author. It emphasizes that the author must be acknowledged. Then we have the CC BY SA. The icon is also there. And the BY, still we looked at it, that it is credit must be given to the creator. And then SA stands for adaptation, must be shared under the same terms. What does this mean? You are not supposed to change anything. Yet when you go to CC BY, if you get my slides, you can make changes in them if they have a CC BY license. But if they buy a CC BY SA license, it means you are supposed to use them as they are, because there's that SA, which stands for adaptations, must be shared under the same terms. Then we have the CC BY NC, and NC stands for only non-commercial uses of the works are permitted. So the works are not supposed to be sold. They are supposed to be used free of charge. If you find an article, if you find a book when it has that, please, you don't need to charge it. It has to be accessed free of charge. Even if you print it and take it to a photocopier, maybe you want your students to access it, let them only pay money for photocopying, but don't add there any other cost. Then CC BY NCSA, and we are looking at a license which enables users to reuse, distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format for non-commercial purposes only, and only so long as the attribution is given to the creator. Here, you can change the material according to any medium or according to any format, but still it must be non-commercial. That's why we have the icon there for only non-commercial uses of the works permitted, and then also adaptation shared under the same terms. Then we have the CC BY ND, we have the CC BY NCND, and then also lastly we have the CCO. Now the CCO, this is a public domain for public documents. For example, most of the government documents which are published under Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation, many of them of recent have started putting on this icon for public domain, meaning that anybody in the public can be able to access it at no cost. So there shouldn't be any condition, there shouldn't be any subscription. People should just access them as they are. Normally, sometimes the cost is only on printing, but not a cost of gaining an interest. So that is the CCO. So those are the licenses which protect our open access materials. So when you publish in those journals and you publish as an open access material, they'll even give you an agreement form, and then you have to tick which license you want to be included on your publication. So because they don't do it themselves or do it automatically, you as the author, you have full powers over your publication. So that is to deal with the open access publishing. Members could join later. You are most welcome. I want to welcome our DVC is also on attending. Dr. Mayanja, you are most welcome. I also want to welcome our Director of Graduate School, Dr. Bule is also on, and also Professor Martha, the coordinator of our PhD program, is also on. Our AR, Dr. Wanda, is also on. You are most welcome. And the rest, you are all most welcome. This session, we also invited the students. So our master students and PhD students, if you are on, you are most welcome. And all lecturers and the administrative staff. We are going now to continue to another segment of this session. Now we are going to look at what we call the OKID. Now the OKID, I'll request as I start presenting, we shall get one volunteer who will share the screen, and then I'll take you through on how you can have an OKID. And what is an OKID? That's what we are going to learn about now. OKID is an open researcher and contributor's ID. It's a unique persistent dicta identifier for researchers and academicians. The way we have the NINs, the way we have the birth certificate numbers, the way we have the marriage certificate numbers, which identify you from the rest of the marrieds in your church or in your region, the birth certificate which separates you, even if they are twins, they have different numbers of the birth certificate. So now when it comes to this environment of research, there is what we call identifiers or research identifiers, and OKID is one of them. So it helps researchers distinguish them from others and also connect them to their work across disciplines, institutions, and countries. OKID, or Open Research and Contributor ID, is a non-profit organization that provides researchers with a unique dicta identifier to distinguish them from others and ensure that their work is attributed accurately. It has 16-digit numbers, which is associated with the researcher's name and can be used to link all their research output, all their contributions, and scholarly publications, data sets, and other scholarly works. So we shall visit the page where to register, but also in the future you can visit their journal page, the info.okid.org, and then you learn more about it. What are the key points about OKID? One of it is unique identification. You get a unique number which identifies you from the rest of the researchers. Then there is global reach. So everyone at the global can be able to reach you. Then there is integration with research systems. So different research systems, they will require you to submit your OKID or your researcher ID. And then when you submit, they will get to know whom you are, where your experience is, where your expertise is, and so on. However, it has an element of privacy and control, and that is in the hands of the researcher yourself. Then there is improved discoverability. So people can easily discover whom you are. Then there is researcher portability. Then there is interoperability, and then OKID APIs. The key features. When we talk about unique identifier, as I said earlier, that it is a 6-digit alphanumeric number or ID for any researcher, ensuring your uniqueness in identifying you. Then there is centralized profile. You as a researcher, you can create a public profile to showcase your academic output, including publications, grants, affiliations, peer reviews. If you sit on the editorial board, we shall get to know that you sit on a certain editorial board, how long have you been there, or that you'll be able to include it. And it increases your profile. Then when we talk about interoperability, it integrates with the funding bodies, publishers, and institutions. Automatically, they can be able to link and then updating the researcher's profile with new output. So they can easily know that you've come up with a new publication, you've won a grant, you've won funds somewhere, you've traveled to present a paper in a certain conference. So that's how interoperability will help you. Then persistent and portable, it remains with the researcher throughout their career, regardless of name changes, institutional affiliation, or reallocation. Even if today I'm called Stephanas Garinya and tomorrow I call myself Peter Chigozi, definitely my identifier will remain the same, however much I've changed the name. Even if I leave Ndejje University and I go to another institution, still my institutional affiliation will not be affected. However, even my reallocation. Then what are its benefits to you as researchers? It resolves ambiguities caused by common names, name change, or differences in spelling and formatting. Now, we have colleagues who are having more than 2 names. For example, if you are Mary Sarah Namusoke, and then on another paper, you start with Namusoke Mary Sarah. Then another paper, your names read Sarah Namusoke Mary. That is total confusion. So even when it comes to citing your work, it will be very hard because all your names at one moment, they are surnames, at one moment, they are first names. But because you have an identifier, for us, we shall use that and find out whom you are. Then it streamlines the workflow, automatically populates forms of manuscript submissions, grant applications, and institutional reporting. So your works, all of them can be listed there. It enhances visibility. So it increases discoverability of researchers' work through integration with the databases. Some of the databases like Scopus, Web of Science, and our institutional repositories. It supports open research, whereby it will link the researcher to the datasets, preprint, and other non-traditional outputs, promoting transparency and collaboration. Now, as an institution, as Ndejje, if all you researchers you have OKIDs, how do we benefit? Accurate tracking. It helps to track and evaluate researchers' output and impact consistently. Now, this can also even help the HR, especially the promotions committee, because they'll know whom you are. They don't need to ask you to submit a very big page CV, including number of publications you've worked on. You just submit a 2-page CV and they will just visit your OKID and it will display exactly where your publications are and what you've been doing, where you've served, either in formal or informal sector. Then integration with the systems. It connects seamlessly with the research management systems, simplifying reporting and compliance with open access and funding mandates. It supports collaboration. So it enables the funders and the institutions to identify potential collaborators or experts in specific fields. Now, for example, We have heads of department here attending. We have the AR. If you are looking for external examiners, it's very easy because if they give you the names of somebody with his OKID number, then you just go and check, and then you'll find out whether this is a competent person to work as our external examiner, whichever level, whether undergraduate, whether master's, whether PhD, you can easily get to know whom this person is. If it means collaborating with the institutions, because there are also OKIDs for institutions, however, those ones are at a cost. So you can be able to collaborate. So how to set up an OKID? We shall visit the OKID page and create a free account. When we are creating an account, you complete your profile, which includes your personal details, including your employment history, your education, and research works. Connect your work. It links your OKID to different databases, and also it can import publications and other researcher output. Then use your OKID, including your email signatures or research proposals, manuscript submissions, your CVs, to ensure consistency and visibility. Where OKID is used, publishers, many journal publishers require or encourage OKIDs during manuscript submission. Why? They want to know whom they are dealing with. Are you a specialist in that area? Where is your interest? So the OKID tells them a lot. Then funders, when funding bodies often mandate OKIDs for grant application to track the grantee activities. You might be a fake person, so how do they get to know that you're a right person to be given funds? The OKID can help them so much. Then when you come to our academic institutions, it can be used for tenure evaluation, reporting systems, and also institutional repositories. OKID versus other identifiers, because we have other identifiers. Now, when we look at the scope, OKID is multidisciplinary. But when you look at another author, rather research ID, like Scopus author ID, it is limited to only Scopus. You must have published with the Scopus, and then your works are being indexed. The same with the researcher IDs under Publons, you must have submitted your data there. Then ownership. OKID is researcher owned. You own it yourself because you log in using your email and then your password. So you have full authority over your account. However much Scopus and the researcher ID for them, they are database generated. So you should be a member there, and then it can be able to generate. Then portability, OKID cuts across different systems. However, Scopus and researcher ID, they are tied to those particular institutions, tied to Scopus, tied to Publon. So that is the advantage with the OKID. In summary, it plays a crucial role in a modern research landscape by providing a standardized and persistent identifier for researchers. It helps streamline research workflows. It ensures proper attribution and enhances visibility of researchers and their work. Researchers are encouraged to obtain the OKID and link it to their professional activities to benefit from these advantages. Thank you. Now we are going to go to the practical, and I would like to get a volunteer, anybody who is willing to volunteer, and then I stop sharing, then you share your screen, and then we move on. Any volunteer? You can unmute yourself, or you can send a text if you are ready to volunteer, and we create an OKID account. Any volunteer? I may not be in position to create an account because I already have an OK ID, because it would have been me to demonstrate that. That's why I'm requesting for volunteer. Anyone willing, please? Okay. Dr. Nalela is willing. Okay. Dr. Nalela, let me, I think I stopped sharing. Dr. Nalela, you can share your page, share your screen rather, then I'll take you through the journey as others are watching. I've allowed you, please. You can share your screen. Okay, thank you. Let's open a new tab because we are seeing your email, but you open another new tab. Yes, there. And then type there okid.org/register. .org/register. Yes, you can just pick it from down there to display it. The last one, just pick the last one. Okay. Yes, you pick the first one, which has OKID register. I hope all of us were now watching. All right. Scroll down. On the page, you can see they are saying create your OKID. Then we are going to go to your names and type in your given name and then your family name. However, my family name is optional, but we are trying to show our visibility, so your names are important. Okay, scroll down. I would encourage you to use your personal email, and then your institutional email will be an additional email, because this is going to be your OKID for life. Even when you leave Ndejje and the Ndejje email is blocked after your exit, still you'll be able to access your account. So use your personal email. Okay, then confirm the email. I think you already have an OKID. I'm seeing that. You see that? They're saying the email address is already associated with an existing OKID. You cannot use this email when creating a new OKID, meaning that you have an account already. Are you aware that you have an account?
I think I created one, but I might have forgotten.
Oh, so you already have an account. So can we get another volunteer? Now I'll help Dr. Naleda to activate his account because he already has one. I'll request another volunteer. It can even be a non-teaching staff. Mr. Martin Ashabak, can we create an account, please?
So we can create an account, but
Yes,
though I'm not on my table.
Okay. Any other volunteer who is seated on a laptop whom we can work with? Any volunteer, please? I'm seeing Dr. Rubega, do you have an account already? Dr. Bule, Dr. Chitata, do you already have an account?
I have.
Okay.
I already have an account.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Chitata. Dr. Chitata and Dr. Rubega, do you already have an account? Can we get a volunteer? It's us who are delaying ourselves. The newest doctor, Dr. Naomi, you have an account? She can't hear us. Any other volunteer, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr.
I
Naomi.
have an account already.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Members, can we get anyone without an account? The process will take us only 5 minutes, but we need a volunteer.
What is happening? Address them.
We are failing to get anybody to volunteer.
For me, I'm using a phone and I have tried to reach where that registration part is.
Okay, but are you
And
able
I try to share my screen.
Yes, please, Mr. Atiku, share your screen.
Okay. Yes, only. My network is a bit poor. Sir Steven, sorry, my network is a bit slow.
Okay. I'm seeing Florence from AR. Can we create an account with you? Because I believe you could be on your computer.
I was using my phone. That's why I said I could have volunteered, but I was using my phone.
Can we get another volunteer? Yes, Anne. Anne, please share your screen. Anne has raised her hand. Okay, we are seeing your screen now. You try to share your browser. Put your browser up because we are now seeing your computer page. Okay, try to maximize the page. All right, so we are going to go into the browser and we type there okid.org/register. On top, not there, not in the search box. Let's go on top. In the main URL search box. Yes, there. Type there okid, orcid.org/register. It's even down there. Okay, that one. So you select the OKID register. I hope the rest couldn't have accounts. We are watching now the steps. You ignore the cookies, just close that page. Okay, scroll down. Create your OKID, now given name. You type there your name and then your family name. Usually your family name is your clan or tribe name, so you've interchanged them. So Anne should come first. Let's continue down. After that, your email, your primary email. As I guided earlier, use your personal email. Small letters. Is that a dot or a comma? Looks like okay. Then repeat the same to confirm the primary email. Repeat the same email. Then continue down, scroll down. Okay. So then you can add your institutional email where we have additional email. Just type there your institutional email. So I hope the rest we are watching the steps. After the session, we shall be in position to create. It should be a asimwe art. Okay. There is no space. I'm seeing you putting space there. Okay, at ndejjeuniversity.ac.ug. You've deleted. Okay, so after that, we go to next step. Click on next step button. Okay, scroll up. Now you need to create a password which is 8 character or more. You type in your password and then confirm that password. I'd encourage you not to create new passwords. You may use your email password unless when it has less than 8 characters, then you stand chances to change or to just add on. Please type in your password. Then confirm the same password you've typed first. Okay, scroll down. Scroll down the page. Click next. Next step. Okay, so they've affiliated you to Ndejje University, so you just select that. Organization is in, yes, that is okay. Then department, type there your faculty. Isn't it Faculty of Education and Humanities or Humanities and Education? It is Faculty of Education and Humanities. Just cut it and paste it to the other side and then put the word and. It's very easy like that. Okay, if you can't cut and paste, just delete. Delete the word education, delete the word and, then you put a cursor in front of and humanities. You've done the same. It is Faculty of Humanities, rather Education and Humanities. So, okay, let's go down your role. Are you a lecturer, a teaching assistant, assistant lecturer? Let it be in small case, capital letter first, then lowercase. Okay, continue down. Scroll down. So when did you start working with Ndejje? Click on the drop down and select Ndejje. You can scroll down within the list and you select Ndejje when you joined Ndejje. You scroll down because the years are down. When you go up, you are going into 2026, 2027. Scroll down. Okay, which month? Do the same. Scroll down and select the month you joined. Okay, next step. Let's scroll up. Now we are going to look at the visibility settings. Scroll down a little bit so that members can be able to view the visibility setting. And on this page, they are telling that OKID connects with your OKID record that can contain links to your research activities, affiliation, awards, and other versions of your name and more. So you control this content and you can see it. So now when we come to visibility setting, by default, what visibility should be given to new items added to your OKID. So whatever you add on, do you want it to be viewed by everyone? If you select everyone, it means everything. But I would propose you select trusted parties. Okay, I'll explain that as we go into the account. Then when you select only me, then it is known, it means that the OKID, you have it for yourself. Nobody else will want to access your information. So why do you have it? It means that it's not necessary. It only helps you as an individual. So now, when we say everyone, for example, when you say everyone, it means that even some information which people shouldn't have seen, they will be able to see it. But when you select only trusted parties, so only people and organizations whom you've given permission advance will be able to access your information. Click on next step. So whatever we are doing now with Madam Anne, you can do it on your phone. For those who are having more phones, you can do the registration yourself. Now we are going to look at terms of use. You have to consent to the private policy and terms of use. And then so you have to consent your data being processed in the United States. Why? Because the OKID, it is hosted there. Its servers are in America. So you click in those two boxes. Okay. But on top, you scroll up. On top, they are asking you whether you would like to receive new tips and features in your email about OKID. Now that is your personal choice. I will not tell you to tick, but if you want, please do. Then continue down.
Excuse me, please.
Yes, please.
I am at the level of creating the
We can't hear you well. I propose you share in the chat. I'm proposing, Michael, you share in the chat because I think your network has an issue.
That is 7%. The
Okay, as we register, click on complete registration, Anne. Okay, if you're using your personal laptop, you may save. If it's a public, you may say never because it's popping. Okay, so now, Anne, can you try to move the slide, the taskbar on your screen, move it to the left so that we are able to see that OKID number in full because we are seeing it halfway. It has more zeros. There. Now, when you come here, that is Annie's OKID from today onwards. If you want to know about Anne, she will be sharing that. And you expect that that will appear on her CV, it will appear on her email, it will appear anywhere she would like to. Then where you see the pencil icon, it means you can edit. And they are giving us a message thanking her that she has registered. Now, the next step, and if you have another gadget or a phone, go to your phone and activate your email because they've sent you a verification email. So you may use your phone because we still need this page and check and then verify your email so that we can do more business on this account. Right now, we can't do much until when you verify, and you just click on the link which has been sent to your email from Okaide. So we are waiting for Anne to get back to us after verifying the email in our account. So, Madam Anne, if you are done with the verification, you refresh this page. Just refresh it. Go to the left-hand side of the page and you click on the refresh button. In the top left-hand corner, you are moving to the right, on the left. Yes, there. Just click on that, reload the page. Okay. Now, when you scroll from up, let's start from up. You scroll up, you can see your names. You wrote them in capital letters. So they kill somebody's vision when he reads them or she reads them. Let's scroll to the right so that we can be able to see the last page. Yes. There is a pencil icon under names. Click on the pencil. Under names. You can see the moment you move the cursor there, it gives you an option for edit. So now that page, they are telling you can edit. Can you now change so that it's only A, which is capital? Even the surname, yes, then you go to the surname, do the same. Why are we doing this? To show you that you can even edit because, as we said earlier, you own the account. Scroll down, try to scroll down the general page. Okay, within this page, you scroll down where you are. Continue down to the bottom. Continue down. Is that the last? Then scroll the main page because there's something we can't see. Don't close that page because there is a button there for save. If you don't save what you've tried to change, it will remain the same. So at your side, if you are able to view the save button on the bottom, please save. Because as here we can't see. Okay. Okay, you close that small page where you've edited the name, you close it. You see, you've not saved. So that's why it has remained the same. So you go back to edit, you didn't save. Try to scroll up. We want to see the whole of that page. Don't close that one. Don't close it. Just scroll the main page. Don't close, don't close. I'm saying you're trying to close. Don't close anything. Okay. Now at yes, then you scroll up or scroll down in the page where you are. Yes, you see that there is save changes. So can you make changes there and then save? Save. Click on the button save. Save changes. You see now? Now when we go to biography, when you click on the pencil icon, you click on the pencil icon for biography. Move the cursor down and try to, okay, we are not seeing the full page, yes. Now you can add your biography there and then you save the changes. Close that. We are not going to add the biography because of time. You close that page now. I think now we've seen that. Close. Scroll down. Okay, go to employment. So whoever sees this will think that you graduated in 2007 or 2008 because you only have one place of work. If you want to add on another place of work where you started from, under employment, on the right-hand side, we have a plus sign and the word add. You click on it. So you can be able to add details there. The organization where you worked some time back, the city, the country, the number of things which you can be able to add there. Okay, so you can see that Okaido already has even where Chambogo is located. Okay, so scroll down, scroll within the page where we've typed in the organization Chambogo, within that same page. Okay, I think now the registration part is done. Let me own the page back so that we can run very faster because I don't want to go into lunchtime. It's 1:30 and we have another session of 20 minutes to conclude this. So Madam Anne, thank you so much. Now I'm going to use my account to demonstrate the remaining things so that we run very fast. You can stop sharing your page, please. I'm going to talk about that. So you close your page, rather you stop sharing. So I'm going to share my page and then show you the rest of the remaining parts, which are very interesting. And then move to the last section of this session. Okay, I'm receiving messages here from, I think it's Mr. Tiku, who has been successful. Thank you. Now I'm sharing my page and I wanted us to take you through the rest of the things which we've not looked at because of time. Now, there was a question when Madam Anne was leaving. She was asking, how do I retrieve my OCA ID? You just copy it. When you go to your account, copy it and paste it wherever you want it. And when you paste it, you can be able to share it with others. And They'll only be able to view your details because they've not logged into your account, so they will not be able to have the pencil icon on their page, but they'll be able to view everything you do. So when you come to employment, I have 6 placements. Then when you go to education and qualifications, they are there. When you go to professional activities, they are there. When you go to funding and the funding, you can add fundings there. When you go to works, let's use works as an example. When you go to works, you can be able to search and connect the links of your publication, connect them by the DOI now to colleagues who have published with our institution repository. All your articles have DOIs, so you can add them by DOI, you can add by PubMed, but also you can add manually. Let's look at the manual element. So if you want to add a material manually, what do you do? When you come to work type, you select. Then OKID has improved. Previously, they were limiting us, but now you can add a journal article, you can add a conference paper, you can add a book, or you can go to academic publications. And under academic publications, you can see the output. There are journal articles, books, book chapters, conference papers, conference outputs, conference presentations, posters, proceedings, preprint, dissertations of thesis, and working papers. When you go to review and editing, maybe you've done some work under review and editing. There can be annotations, there can be book reviews, there can be journal issues or editions, there can be transcriptions or translations. Then when you go to dissemination, you would have done some entry in the dictionary or encyclopedia or magazine, or newspaper article, or a talk, or an interview, or podcast, or speech, or website. They can be added still. Creative works for our colleagues who are in art and music, they can be able to add a lot there. When you go to data and processes, you can be able to add there different items, cartographic materials, clinical study data sets, and softwares, physical objects, all that can be added there. When you go to legal and IP, you can also be able to add there a lot. Then teaching supervision. So you can be able to add there your lectures, your teaching materials. Now, for those who have embraced our learning management system, it will be very easier for you to put your teaching materials even on your OKID. Then supervise the publications. If you supervise the students, you can be able to add their research titles here. And then when did you supervise them, you'll be able to indicate. If you need to include the citation, which is optional, you can be able to add. And then, and after adding in all the details, you save. And if you have another student, it will be the same procedure to add another student. So for those who have supervised the students' publications, you can also be able to add them here. In other words, you would have simplified even the work for the promotional committee and even the HR office, because everything of yourself will be here on this, your OKID. However, you can make this what you can decide what is made public, what is made to be viewed by very few people, so that depending on your interest, then you can be able to edit. You can add more emails here. If you had one, you can be able to edit the email. If you have a website or a social media link, you can add it there. Keywords, if you want to add your countries of interest or where your works are, you can add there. Maybe you're an external examiner in Tanzania and you want to add a country there, you can add it there. But still, the students you've supervised as an external examiner, still you'll be able to add them under your works. So that is how the OKID will benefit us, and to encourage all of us to create and have one. Then lastly, I would like to talk about fair use. Fair use and copyright. That is the last presentation. Then we shall end this session. Okay, sorry. Now, when we talk about fair use in Uganda, we have an act, which is Copyright and Neighboring Act 2006. It was revised by 31st December 2023, and it's now CAP 222, which we follow as a country. But briefly, what is copyright? Copyright is a legal framework that protects original works of the authorship, such as literary, artistic, and scholarly works, giving the creator exclusive rights to use and distribute their work. So however much we've talked about your publication, publishing, and so on, but the copyright is very important. What is being copyrighted or what is being protected? When we go to literary works, we have books, we have articles, we have manuscripts, and others in that category. Then we go to artistic works, we have paintings, we have music, we have films, we have photography, and others within that area. Then digital content, softwares, websites, videos, they also have copyright. If we come out as Ndejje University and our students in computing and sciences, they develop us an app which is going to help AR or which is going to help the bursar's office or which can merge the two in clearance of students. That app which they've developed, it will have a copyright, and the copyright will be for Ndejje University. However, if it was initiated by students and the university never funded them any single coin, it means that the university will go into an agreement to buy the copyright of the app. But if the university got involved in the development of the app, then it takes higher chances to own the copyright of the app. So meaning that even digital content is copyrighted. You cannot just access it free anyhow, rather you cannot just violate it anyhow. Rights to copyright holders. We talk about reproduction, right to make copies of the work, distribution, control over the work, how the work is shared or sold. For example, if it is a print textbook and they are out of print, you are not allowed to reprint unless when you get authority from the author. Now, when you look at our logbooks, every faculty has a special logbook when students are going for internship. Why do we include the institutional logo? It is a copyright. That is owned by Ndejje University. If any other university comes out and duplicates our logbooks for internship, then that is a case. That is a court case to answer. So how we identify our items or our publications? It's by including our logo of the institution. So even when a student goes out there, is not responsible to photocopy our logbook or any write-up of the university. So that one goes also to the individual authors. You must get authority first. Then in modification, authority to create derivative the works. So if you want to modify, you need to get authority. Now, for example, if somebody has passed on, all the copyright is for his or husband, or wife, and the children. So if you want to make any changes or modify his or her work, you have to seek permission from them. public display or performance. So there is permission to show or to perform the work publicly. The duration. Our act indicates that the creator's lifetime is plus 70 years in the jurisdiction. So the moment you die, your work can last for 70 years. But after the 70 years, it eventually becomes a public domain. What does it mean? The public will be able to access it free of charge, and nobody will be responsible to sell it. Now, let's go to fair use, where our interest is this afternoon. Fair use is a limitation on copyright that allows limited use of copyrighted materials without the owner's permission under specific condition. The purpose is to balance the creator's right with the public interest, enabling uses like education, commentary, and criticism. As I said earlier that in the Republic of Uganda, our act is Copyright and Neighboring Act, CAP 222, as on 31st December 2023. Factors determining fair use. There is purpose and character of the use for non-profit, educational, transformative uses. Those ones follow under fair use. Commercial uses are less likely to qualify for fair use. Nature of copyrighted works using factual or non-creative works is more likely to fall under fair use than highly creative works. Amount and substantiality. Using a small portion or an insignificant part of the work favors fair use. For example, I send my students to photocopy one chapter of the book for their coursework or for their class assignment. That is fair use. But when somebody goes and photocopies the whole book and starts distributing it, however much you've not sold it, did you seek permission from the original author? Or did you seek permission from the publishing house who have the copyright? That one is not fair use. So using the heart of the work may weigh against fair use. So it depends which heart or which spirit are you using that work. Effects on market value. If the use negatively affects the market value or potential revenue of the copyrighted work, it's less likely to be considered fair use. Examples of fair use, education and teaching. So as I gave the example of a chapter from the book, or it can be a manuscript for teaching, for classroom instruction. Criticism and commentary, to just make some few quotations from the passage or a novel. For research, using a small portion of data or image for academic analysis. Parody, imitating a copyrighted work for humorous or satirical purposes. Application to the librarians and with the researchers. So use licensed content and whenever possible, rely on licensed or open access materials to avoid copyright issues. And then attribution, even if something qualifies as fair use, provide the proper citation to acknowledge the creator, whether it's a video, whether it's a small clip, whether it's an audio, whether it's one paragraph, but it's not yours. You are not the original creator. You have to acknowledge the creator. Then we talked about the Creative Commons licenses, use and share works with the such licenses which outline explicit permissions for use. Then digital resources. You have to be cautious when digitizing or sharing content. When we are digitizing, we also have to be careful because somebody wouldn't have liked his materials to be made public, because the moment you do digitization, it means some of the information is going to be open to the public. So you have to ensure that you are very careful on that. And then also ensure that materials in public domain qualify for fair use. There are tools and resources for understanding copyright and fair use. And unlike in Uganda, we don't have a copyright clearance center, but in other countries, such centers are there. And they are there to even teach and train on the permissions and on how to obtain licenses of copyright works. That's why we are facing challenges with our musicians, and with experience, you've had them quarreling on different networks over their songs. Of late, there is a song for campaign for two candidates, but they are only changing the nature of the party and the way somebody dresses, but it is the same song, the same rhythm. Now these artists are fighting over that song because everyone says I'm the one who composed it first. So if we had a clearance center, maybe it would sort them out. Creative Commons for funding and using works under OpenE, for finding and using works under OpenE licenses. Then Code of Best Practices in Fair Use. So guidance is tailored to specific fields like education, media, and research. That's where basically fair use works. Now, lastly, in Uganda, I talked about our Copyright Enabling Act. Now that act, when you go to section 14, it talks about fair use of works protected by copyright. And when you go to subsection C, they are talking about published works. Is used for teaching purposes to the extent justified for purpose by way of illustration in a publication, broadcast, sound, or visual recording, where the use is compatible with fair practice and acknowledgement is given to the work and the author. Now, when it comes to schools, subsection D talks about the work communicated to public in teaching purposes for schools, colleges, and universities. And then there is also subsection E. That one is not directly with us, but also we have a hint there. Then subsection F. Any work that can be seen or heard is reproduced or communicated to the public by means of photography, audiovisual works, or broadcast to the extent justified for purpose when reporting on the current events. Now, you see, after our graduation, our Digits team, they go and post photos on their website. Do they seek permission or they just upload those photos? Do they seek permission from the owners or it is automatic? However, since they are for advertising current events, then there is fair use. But you get that photo from there on our website and use it for any commercial purpose without seeking permission from the university, then that one causes a legal case. So that's how fair use is indicated in our copyright law. Copyright Enabling Act. So you just go to section 14 and then you'll be able to read more about it. These laws are open. If you can't access it, you just go to google.com, you'll be able to access this law. It is there free of charge. So that because this is a public domain, when we are looking at Creative Commons licenses, so this is a public domain, so anybody can be able to access it. Members, I want to thank you so much. We have only 2 minutes to end the session. Thank you so much for keeping time and being on. I'll give an opportunity to our DVC, is still on, to greet us and wish us well. Dear Dr. Mayanja.
Yes, Stephanus.
Yes, Doctor.
First of all, I should thank you for preparing this. And I want to thank the participants for participating in this session. These are very important sessions we've had, 3 in 1. And also thank you for making it a hybrid. I know you met some colleagues physically, but you also provided an opportunity for the virtual space. So please continue doing that. It is the way to go. And we are just reminding ourselves of our core expectations as an institution to do with education and training, research and innovation, but also community engagement or outreach. Research and innovation comes in very prominently. That is what will give us a mileage, both individually, like Stephanos has been illustrating, but also as a university. The rankings out there, you've seen webometrics and all that. These are some of the processes that we should go through to participate in research and ensure that we have outputs out there. Publications, let us publish. Let our publications be cited by other scholars. And it is always a score on part of the individual scholar, but also the university as a whole. So I thank you, Stephanos. Please continue bringing such drills, and we'll appreciate a lot. So thank you once again, and I thank the participants. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mayanja, for those comments. I'll request Madam Florence Nakamia to give us a closing prayer. Madam Florence. Okay, I'll request one of my library staff to give us a closing prayer. Rachel or Sarah? Okay, let us pray. Lord, we thank you for this session we've had. We thank you for the members who have been here since we started at 11, and now the session has come to an end. We hope that everyone has picked something. It has not been time wasted, but it has been fruitful. And as our DVC has encouraged us, let us continue working hard to prosper and putting our institution at high. We thank you for the opportunity you've granted us to be here and the opportunity to be part of Ndejje University. We continue praying that you continue giving us the wisdom and the knowledge as we serve our institution and the country at large. We've prayed believing in your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
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 Amen. God